Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast, where I'm on a mission to help you get a minimalist Zettelkasten on your work table beside you, functioning as a real Zettelkasten so you can get to know what a Zettelkasten is like and have the opportunity to experience insights and help with your writing. Well, today's video answers two questions that have shown up. One question was posed over in LiLLiPub, and the other question was in a comment to one of the videos in the Minimalist Zettelkasten series. Well, first of all, the question from LiLLiPub. Bev asks about what to do when she has cards that won't mingle in her system. She has cards that just don't go with anything that she currently has in her system, and she wants to know how she's supposed to handle those. And the second question comes from Cindy. When we were doing the exercise on creating some foundational cards, Cindy created 4 of them, but she found that 2 out of the 4 weren't quite as foundational as she would have liked to have them be, and she's wondering what can she do with them, if anything. Well, I hope to answer both questions for you. I have some cards set up, an example of each, so come on over to the down-facing camera and let's work through those together. And by the way, both Bev and Cindy, I haven't looked at your cards, so I'm kind of making a guess here. So if I don't really answer your question, if I miss the mark, please ask again and I'll make another stab at it. Because the point of the questions is to help you be able to get over a rough spot. And if it doesn't hit the mark, let me know, because we're not going to give up. All right, see you over in the down-facing camera. Okay, this first card is for you, Bev. This is a card that will not at this moment mingle in my minimalist Zettelkasten that I've been building right along with you folks. This card is kind of an interesting one. The information comes from Chase Mack in a comment that he made to one of my YouTube videos a while back. And he talks about having the concept of an incubator box. What is an incubator box, you may ask? Well, it's a place where you can just put a card for a while and just let it sit there while you're trying to figure out where you want to put it, or even if it's worth adding to your Zettelkasten. I thought that was a rather interesting concept, and in fact, I do use such a thing of my own, only I call it a dump box, but it's the same idea. You can just drop an idea in there and you know you're not going to lose it, but you better get back to it pretty soon to process it, because that's what my reaction to this was, that there's a drawback because you cannot form any connections with a card that isn't in your Zettelkasten. And so you probably want to make sure you get back to it on a regular schedule. So an incubator box must not become a junk box. That was my tagline for this. So now, where would this go in my minimalist Zettelkasten? I have my index box, and I've got a divider card for XYZ, which would include Zettelkasten, but I don't have any cards there yet. I don't have anything for box, nothing for incubator, and nothing for junk either. Well, what's a gal to do? I could either let it sit in an incubator box until something that it goes with comes along, or I could say, where would this fit in to my Zettelkasten if I were to think of it in terms of what topic is it about? If I stepped back and said, okay, what is this really about? I have sections so far about my faith. That was my one area. But certainly this isn't about faith, so I'm not even going to look for those categories. I have a section on business, but really a Zettelkasten isn't about business. I have a section on how the human mind works. And I kind of believe that a Zettelkasten is almost like an extension of the human mind. This is starting to sound promising, but it's not about memory. Well, I guess it's like an external memory. It might go there. What if we said that it's going to be a subcategory under memory? It would be a bit of a stretch, but you could certainly put it in there. Might want to take a look at what I have under 3A. Right now, 3A is just the card. Memory is remarkable and capacity when trained. So if I had a foundation card that said, for example, a Zettelkasten is like having an external memory, then I could link this card to that. Do you see how I could create a bridge? This seems like too much of a stretch. The tie is definitely there. So why don't I make a bridge card? It's like, I'm throwing in the term bridge. Why don't I make a card that acts like a bridge? That I'm not going to invent a new term for a bridge card. When I have a perfectly good term for it, it's a type of foundation card. So let's make a new foundation card. We'll call it 3A1 because there's nothing after 3A that would make mention of a Zettelkasten being an external form of a memory. Okay, now I've created that card. It's a personal reflection, and I just make note of the fact that a Zettelkasten can act as an extension of the human memory. And my reaction is the act of creating and placing a card provides a link to our biological memory as well. And so my tagline is, a Zettelkasten links to and extends our memory. It obviously goes under 3A1 because there's nothing else behind 3A. And this new foundation card acts like a bridge for this other card that otherwise did not have a place in our system. Now this is clearly about a Zettelkasten, and so we can comfortably place it here. It's still a little bit of a stretch, but you have to know that an incubator box is indeed a part of a Zettelkasten. So now this card can become 3A1A. And all I have left to do here is underline my keywords and index both cards. And I've found a home for this. So I got homework to do. I have to finish the indexing job. It's not done till it's done. Okay. The next example is for Cindy. Now, this goes back to when we were pulling together our reading plan. This book was one of the books that was in my reading plan, and I made that little miniature of it. Well, the real book is here in my hands now. Now, when I made my foundation cards based on my reading plan, what if I had made this as a foundation card, the one I'm going to show you right here? What if I had said, I want to learn how to build a visual vocabulary using icons so that I can guide my readers to the purpose of sections in my Zettelkasten book. And then I made the little remark, icons can be pictorial guides to the kinds of information in that section. And then I drew a little icon that was on page 147 of this book, and I've given the book as the source. So then my tagline is, an icon can be a pictorial guide. So if I had made this as the foundation card to extend my reading plan to include this book, then when I got to the next lesson, I would say, oh, that isn't as foundational as I would like it to be. What do I do with this card that I created? Well, let's pull the section where this card logically goes. So I have all of my stuff under 3, which is I want to know more about how the human mind works. And after I had created my sufficiently foundational cards, I had memory is remarkable in capacity when trained. Good design can aid in understanding, and pattern languages lend clarity and efficiency to communication. Oh, I think an icon library is like a pattern language. So let's narrow down a little bit more and take a look at this group. So now here we are with 3C card, pattern languages lend clarity and efficiency to communication. So what else do I have in that area? I've got a 3C1, I want a pattern language to ponder knowledge. That's not really what an icon is, but it is a pattern language. What else do I have? Well, I'm building out 3C1. Doesn't appear that I have a 3C2. If I did, I would know it because I'd have a directory card, because I make a directory card whenever I have 2 or more. That's an advantage of a directory card right there. I could see 3C and 3C1, and I immediately know there is no 3C2. Guess what? I guess I have a 3C2 now, because this is a type of pattern language. This one is a pattern language to ponder knowledge, and this one will be an icon, which also functions as a pattern language. So maybe I want to extend my tagline even and say an icon can be a pictorial guide and a pattern language. Okay, here's my extended tagline, and I'm going to give it 3C2. I'll have to identify my keywords and index this card, but wait, there's something else I have to do. I now have 2 cards that follow 3C, so it's time for a directory card. Okay, now I have a directory card for 3C, and you can see that we have an interesting conversation going on with pattern languages. They can be languages to power knowledge, and they can be pictorial guides, as well as being a pattern language. Now, you can also see another value of a directory card. 3C1 and 3C2 aren't right next to each other because there's all these other cards that came off of 3C1. And so now what you can see, one of the advantages of having this directory card is I know that even though the ones seem to go on, that if you keep going, you'll get to a 2. So it tells me how many come after 3C. So if I have another card that wants to come after 3C, I immediately know it's going to be a 3 without hunting through everything. Now, for the moment, these cards that I created for these examples are sitting here separated because I still have to do the steps of indexing, and I don't want to forget to do that, or else my index box won't be very useful if it doesn't have all of my cards. Okay, I hope these 2 examples will help you get over some of the challenges. If you're having any other challenges, anyone, be sure to post in the questions. I would be delighted to answer them. And also, Bev and Cindy, if I missed the mark, please ask again, because the point here is to get you with a functioning Zettelkasten, and that means getting your questions answered. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.